Welcome back to Legends in the Making, the show where we don't chase success, we embody it. Where becoming legendary isn't about being seen, it's about becoming the version of yourself that nobody else can define. I'm Erin Sarles Bowers, business strategist, shamanic mentor, and guide for those who know that real success, real greatness is an inside job. Today, we're unpacking a truth I wish every athlete, entrepreneur, and every leader knew. Your identity isn't forged when you're celebrating, it's forged when no one is watching. It's built in the quiet. And that's the work that separates the great from the good, the legendary from the loud. And I could not be more excited to get into the topic today. So I'm excited to be back. I've been out for a couple of weeks. I have been under the weather. You can probably still hear it in my voice, but I am grateful to be here with you again live today and to dive into this truth. We live in a world addicted to the podium moments, the win, the rise, the highlight reel. I mean, we are addicted to the illusion of the ego, things that we think matter, that define our success. But the reality is, what really matters is who you are in the silence when no one's there. What is your character? Who are you when no one is watching you? Are you acting from the state of being that defines you, that makes you proud of who you are? Do you have the discipline when no one's watching to be doing the things that aren't getting applauded based on social media or the whatever? Like, do you have the discipline to be resilient in the moments when you're not out on the field getting clapped and cheered on? That's when you're really winning and building the strength of who you are, is in those private moments. And do you have the integrity? What choices and decisions are you making when no one's watching? Decisions that, can cost you everything. Decisions that could cost you everything. And I love this topic today because part of it is about also the universal energetic truths that we are here to abide and live in, that are immutable. They don't change. We sometimes wonder if we're under the invisible force of something. And the reality is we are. We are under the invisible, immutable laws of God. And they can't they can't change. They can't be broken. Just like we don't decide if we want to have gravity, these laws are ones that work in order to keep us in balance. Because we are one with God. We are in union with God. We are part of His entire creation. There's nothing separate from us. We are all part of the greater whole, which is God. We know that God is all-knowing, God is all-loving, God is everywhere and in everything. And so we have to honor these universal truths because they're in play when we are learning to forge who we are when no one is watching. And we are also learning because the universe is a feedback mechanism. Everything that's going on is a test for us to step in to the highest and greatest version of ourselves. Everything is a choice. So when we're in silence, when we're making private choices for ourselves, whatever they may be, whether it's, gosh, I have a day off. Should I go to the gym and work out because that would make me faster or stronger? Or do we go, gosh, I just don't need to work out today. Everything's fine. Everything we choose to do is a choice, and everything is in alignment with the laws of cause and effect. Every, pardon me, thought we think is a ripple out into the universe that has an effect back. Every choice that we make, there is an effect back to who we are. So when we think we're in private and maybe nobody's watching, like, oh, this really doesn't matter. It does. It does, because that's when the universe, that's when God is really connected into you and is observing you and wondering, what are the choices you're going to make? And ultimately, you will find that those private choices have maybe a small pebble ripple effect, or they could have a big, huge boulder ripple effect. You don't know, because the purpose of all of it is to grow you and to be. So if you're making choices that do not align with your highest and greatest version of yourself, of knowing that you are here to love God and you are to love your neighbor as you love yourselves. We are here to follow two laws. Do I love and honor God? And do I love my neighbor as I love myself? Does that mean I have non-judgment? Does that mean I act in service? Does that mean I act in loving manner versus jealousy or condemnation, or you name it? Like, when you judge others, you're effectively judging yourself. And God is here to help us break free, to ascend. Our whole purpose in life is to become the best version of ourselves, to become the most loving versions of ourselves, to be giving of ourselves. So I want to tell you a quick story about someone who lived this truth. And I work with a young athlete, and I'm just going to call him Jason. When Jason first came into our program at Blueprint to Bluechip, he had talent, but he was obsessed with getting college offers, the rankings, and the applause. And when things didn't happen fast enough, he wanted to quit. He thought because the spotlight wasn't there, his effort didn't matter. But when we shifted his focus from chasing validation to building identity, he started focusing on who he was becoming, not what other people saw of him. How powerful is that? The daily grind, the early morning workouts, the invisible sacrifices, all of those were being watched by God, not watched by who you think is going to validate you externally, but by your creator, by you. Are you showing up for you? Are you willing to be the best version of yourself? So fast forward, Jason didn't get the scholarship. He became the captain of his team, not because he chased the title, but because he embodied the energy of a leader long before anyone else noticed. Think about this. The world eventually caught up to who Jason already was. How powerful is that? Like, the universe has to ultimately match the reality that you're creating. So if you're creating a reality of love and abundance and prosperity and an internal knowingness of who you are, everything around you aligns to that. We are moving into an age of energetics and understanding that everything that's reflected of us is a reflection of our internal state. So at Blueprint to Bluechip, we teach athletes this exact principle. It's who you're becoming when nobody's grading you or watching you that defines you. It's who you are when you're in the quiet moments. When you're in the quiet moments, becoming the best version of yourself, when no one's watching you, when you step out onto that field or take up whatever it is you're doing, you're going to perform because you are so aligned. What goes on out there doesn't validate who you are. It should be a reflection of what you've already built. Character leads performance. If you're over-identified with your egoic self, the illusion of the separate self, that identity will lead results, but it doesn't lead to lasting performance because it's tied into the momentary outcomes that the ego is looking to find. And then in my corporate consulting in legendary leadership alignment method, it's the same principles. True leaders aren't obsessed with optics. True leaders are not worried about the optics. They manage energy, not appearances. They are worried about doing the right thing, being aligned to be in service. Real leaders don't chase visibility. They become inevitably visible because their frequency can't be ignored. Energy doesn't lie. So tuning your frequency when you're like, you pick up bad vibes off of people, you're like, why? I just feel this. That's because you're reading their energy. You can't misinterpret that. People can say all the right things, but if their energy doesn't match that or you don't feel that, then you have a misalignment. And when you think of some of the most successful people or why they're so attracted, because they're so high vibe, people want to be around that. It's contagious. And it's calm and it's focused because the work that they're doing is internally within themselves to be the best version of themselves, doing the work when no one's watching. So I shared with you that you're the creator of your reality and that we are here under immutable laws of the universe, laws that this is the way that it is. We can't get out of them. And one of the Hermetic laws, the law of mentalism, plays in really well to what we're talking about today. All is mind. Your whole external world is simply a mirror of your internal reality. People are mirrors back to your internal reality. That's it. So when you're like, oh, like I run into people all the time. I have daily experiences because I'm human. And I'm living this journey right along with you. That they're mirroring back to me what I believe internally within myself. So people aren't separate from you. They are one with you, and they are a reflection of your internal state. So if you live as if you're already the champion, if you lead as if you're already aligned with your soul, the world eventually catches up to reflect that truth. But the question that most people have, and the challenge that most people have, is that they can't stay in the frequency long enough to see the truth reflected. We want such instantaneous gratification as humans. And the reality is it doesn't happen. Time is an optical illusion. So when something comes back, it's in divine right time of when you're supposed to get that. Whether that's instantaneously, whether that's 2 months down the road, whether that's 2 days, 5 years, you don't know. But can you stay focused on the frequency of who you're supposed to be and stay in that and align with that? Because in that's when you start to see really phenomenal results, because then you act from that state of being. So I want you to ask yourself, where in my life am I still waiting for external validation to define my worth? Where am I chasing the podium moments instead of honoring the private moments? Maybe journal on it later. Because the more awareness you bring to it, the faster you reclaim your power. If you're ready to build the kind of identity that doesn't collapse when circumstances change, if you're ready to become someone's success can't help but find, DM me identity and let's talk about your next level. Whether it's Blueprint to Bluechip for your athlete or Legendary Leadership Alignment Method for you, your future isn't waiting. Your future isn't waiting at the finish line. It's being built today in the quiet, sacred, ordinary moments no one else sees. Thank you for being here. Go lead like the legend you already are.